Let's roll, baby. Welcome in a special Saturday edition of New York, New York after a monstrous response by the New York Knicks in Game 4 of their first-round series against the Atlanta Hawks. I think you know who this is. It's JJ John Jastrzemski. 114-98 the final. I see you all on YouTube. Comment. You want to join the show, you can do that as well. Take your pick. I am in such a good mood after this game. And I just want everybody to know I was supremely confident that the Knicks would respond in Game 4. The reason I was supremely confident is because they're a much better team. Think about Game 2. The Knicks thoroughly outplayed the Hawks. Awful fourth quarter, lost by 1. Game 3, all right, Atlanta, for the most part, was the better team, but we're still talking about a 1-point loss. You had back-to-back 1-point losses. But in totality, the Knicks have been much better at their best. And both of these teams, if they're at their very best, the Knicks are better. They're flat out better. Now, early on in this game, I was very concerned it was going to be the Jalen Brunson show. That it was going to be Jalen Brunson yucking up 25 to 30 shots. The ball movement was not going to be there. Guys are going to get lost in the shuffle. That's how it looked for the first 3 or 4 minutes in the game. And then all of a sudden, something changed drastically. And we could talk about a lot of heroes on this Saturday night. But for me, it's pretty simple. You have to start with Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns was the best player on the floor. No questions asked. Karl-Anthony Towns, in my opinion, had one of the best games he has ever had as a New York Knick. It's one of the best games he's ever had. Now, I know he's had some monster scoring games in the postseason, in the regular season. Cat had 20 points on 10 shots and registered a triple-double. 20, 10, and 10. And how many times did you see Karl-Anthony Towns make the right basketball play? Hey, double team comes, boom, I'm finding somebody right under the basket. And in a lot of instances, that guy was OG Anunoby. But this is the version of Karl-Anthony Towns that you want to see. He has an edge in this series because Atlanta can't guard him, and Atlanta can't guard the paint. So when he came out beyond the three-point line, it meant you needed guys cutting, getting to the basket. And that's why you saw so many easy looks, and that's why you saw so many easy shots for the Knicks, because of the way they were able to move the basketball. And a lot of that has got to be a credit to Karl-Anthony Towns. Amazing game. Seamless, in rhythm, in flow. My goodness, he was passing the ball like Jokic today. Incredible performance. And not that I expect multiple triple-doubles coming from Cat the rest of the postseason, but just from an efficiency standpoint, just from a basketball smarts standpoint, an aggressiveness standpoint. And that's why when you talk about aggressiveness with Cat, it's not just about yucking up shots. It's about making sure you get touches, making sure you're impacting the game. That's what it boils down to. It's the biggest game the Knicks have played this year, and he was at his very best. Now, 2 outstanding games in a row for OG Anunoby. Outstanding games in a row. And it was about the 3-point shot for Anunoby in Game 3. He goes and knocks down 3 threes, which is great in Game 4, but it was that 2-man game that he was working with Cat. Working the baseline, getting his dunks, getting to the rack. And we all know what an impact that OG Anunoby can make defensively, where he's just everywhere. And against an Atlanta team that has some liabilities from beyond the three-point arc, it allows OG Anunoby to really go and freelance and really go and anchor this defense, and that's exactly what he did. He was outstanding tonight. You know who else I got to shout out? And I'm going to take a victory lap on this in some way. And I'm not proclaiming this is like the greatest trade of all time or anything along the lines of that outrageous mumbo jumbo. But I want to go back to late January, early February. And when the Knicks made the trade for Jose Alvarado, I said it right then and there. He's going to have a moment or two in this postseason that helps you go and win a ball game. Guess what? Game 4 on the road, down 2-1 against the Atlanta Hawks. You got yourself a Jose Alvarado spark plug type of game. He was irritating on defense. He goes and hits a couple of threes. He goes and gets the Knicks in rhythm on offense, even when Jalen Brunson is on the bench, starting the second quarter. So Alvarado come back when Brunson went into the locker room. Mike Brown cut the minutes of Bridges. Got off to a decent start, but it wasn't good enough for Mikal Bridges to go and get extended run in this game. Bridges only played 19 minutes. He didn't really rely upon Deuce McBride. Deuce, if you look at the stat sheet, ended up getting 11 points. A lot of it was in extended garbage time. The guy Mike Brown was turning to in this game because of what he was providing from a tenacity standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, setting up and getting the team into the offense, it was Alvarado. Alvarado was instrumental in the Knicks winning this game today. And the stat sheet's not going to wow you. You're going to see 6 points. You're going to see 2 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3. Alvarado's plus-minus. +8, it felt like it was +17. It felt like when Alvarado was in the game, good things were happening. You need that in a postseason series. You need certain guys to go and step up. This is a big-time step-up game for Alvarado. So, like, if I were doing the 3 stars of the game like they do in hockey, it would be Towns clear-cut 1, first star of the game. Anunoby probably would get my 2nd star, and Alvarado would get my 3rd star. But if I had to go and give you an honorable mention, you had to know that Josh Hart was going to respond, right? You had to know. Of course Josh Hart's going to respond. The guy is as tough as it gets. He was embarrassed by the way he played in Game 3. And Hart did a wonderful job of getting the Knicks out in transition and getting them those easy buckets and doing all of the quote-unquote Josh Hart things that you expect him to do quite consistently. All over the place. All over the place. You didn't get a great Brunson game. This was not quintessential Brunson by any stretch. You can make the argument it's maybe Brunson's worst game that he played in the series. He was 7-18 from the field. He only gave you 19 points, and yet it didn't matter. And isn't that a good sign for the Knicks? They got a B-. I don't even think a B-. I think they got a C+C game out of Jalen Brunson. And we're talking about the Knicks winning, going away in a series game that was a must for them, down 2-1. So the frustration, the angst, the stress levels for Knick fans going into Saturday were quite high. And I get it. You lose this game on Saturday night. The narratives that were starting to build, right? Like we heard all of them. It was, hey, they're going to break up the team. Mike Brown. How can you lose to the Hawks? Like all of this was building and building and building. So to go and win convincingly, I think it's paramount. Like I think it is so important that the Knicks won this game, and it was never a doubt, honestly. It was never a doubt where you're like wondering, Knicks in trouble here. Was there ever a point watching this game where you guys were watching and you said, I'm nervous? I was never nervous. That great first quarter, then even better second quarter. Atlanta never got it to a point in the third quarter where you were really sweating. And by the end of the third quarter, you knew this game was on autopilot. And that's exactly what it was. It was an autopilot game for the Knicks. But what this game allows, in theory, to me, is the notion of, hey, we're better. If we play our best, this series is donezo. If the Knicks bottle up 2 more games like this, it's over in 6 games. And that is going to be my message now to this team. Getting ready with 2 off days for Tuesday and then a game 6 on Thursday. Go and put the Atlanta Hawks out of their misery. Atlanta had a cute run. They won back-to-back games. Make game 4 the standard now of what you're going to see throughout the rest of the series. Where the Hawks are saying to themselves, we don't have answers. And when it comes to the interior, it is obvious that Atlanta has no answers. And that's why game 2 and game 3 felt incredibly frustrating, because the Knicks didn't do a good enough job of taking advantage of it. They didn't. Game 2, they choked away. And game 3 was hard fought. Knicks fought back. But a couple of awful possessions ended up being the difference. Knicks defend like this. You combine that with their edge on the inside. How does Atlanta compete? How do they win? Where are they getting the answers from? They got a decent game out of McCollum. Decent. He was efficient. He only gave him 17. Can't expect CJ McCollum to be Superman every single time he plays. Alexander Walker was okay because he hit 5 threes. Other than that, the Hawks stunk. Jalen Johnson, it felt like the guy wasn't even on the court. Daniels is such a liability. Can't shoot the ball to save his life. He's painful. And you got a bad Kuminga game today. Bad Kuminga game. Kuminga, who was really active in game 2 in their comeback and was awesome in game 3, didn't impact the game. Wonder if you're going to see Snyder maybe even go to a guy like Tony Bradley. I know it sounds crazy, just to get some size in there, just so the Knicks can't get as many easy looks as they did. But I'm at a point now, and some could call it overconfidence. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't think it's overconfidence. There's no excuse for the Knicks. They are much better than the Hawks. They're much better. When they play their best game, Atlanta cannot compete. End this series in 6. Don't play with your food in game 5. Don't inspire hope that Atlanta can go and win another game at Madison Square Garden and then get back to Atlanta where, oh, by the way, you're going to have 30 to 40% of the crowd. I mean, it was insane looking at some of those crowd cutaway shots and seeing all of the orange and blue that was all over the place in Atlanta. So you got that working in your favor too. And can I give Mike Brown credit? I gave Mike Brown a really hard time, and rightfully so, after game 2 and after game 3. What he did with the rotation tonight is exactly what he should be doing, period, across the board. Why? It's very simple. Karl-Anthony Towns or Jalen Brunson has to be in the game, one of them, at all times. Staggered minutes. I almost blew a gasket in the first quarter when he had them both out for like a minute or 2. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to go nuts here. He got Brunson back in pretty quickly. That's how it should be. One of those 2 guys has got to be in there. They've got to play. The Knick lineup can have success without Jalen Brunson. When you have Karl-Anthony Towns going and leading the way, Brunson comes back in. That's maybe when you want to stagger some of the cat minutes. It's good coaching. He didn't mess with the starting lineup, which to me was the right decision. But you also know, hey, I don't have to rely upon Mikal Bridges. Despite the fact that I gave up 5 first-round picks for him, and despite the fact that, hey, he is this guy that you're quote-unquote counting on, no, you could count on him a little less. If you feel like some of the matchups, which means McBride or Alvarado, work better. You don't have to force feed Mikal Bridges, but it also means you don't have to force feed changes within the starting lineup. It was handled beautifully. Go win the series in 6 games. Boston's going to have an easy series with Philadelphia. Boston, I think, is going to win the next 2 games. At most, they're probably going to find themselves in a 6-game series. At most. You don't want to be playing a 7th game here. You don't. I don't need the angst. You guys don't need the angst. This team doesn't need the angst. This is about bigger picture stuff here. The dream is to get to the NBA Finals. It's okay to talk about it. It's not mushing anything. That was the goal from Jump Street for this team. How did they get to an NBA Final? Well, having an easier first-round series would do that. What I saw in Game 4 is signs of this series becoming easier for the Knicks because they're better. Take advantage of it. I hope that this Game 4 really inspires a whole lot of confidence. And for more than anybody else, I hope it inspires confidence for Karl Anthony Towns. This is what's needed. He's had a good series. Great to stretch. This was a great game. This was an amazing game. He's had a good series. Like, you were down 2-1 going into this game tonight. It wasn't because of Cat. Like, this was not one of those series where people around town were like, oh, Cat's the problem. Cat's the problem. This is why you're in a position that you're in. No. There was none of that. We dissected Game 2. We dissected Mike Brown. We dissected Jalen Brunson. They, to me, were guys that were feeling it and wearing it a lot more. But from a fit standpoint, when the Knicks made that Cat trade with Minnesota, the spacing, what you saw in that second and third quarter against the team that has no size, but you got to respect Karl Anthony Towns' outside shooting. Therefore, you can't just leave him open on the perimeter. That's what they had in mind. And it just goes to show you, he is a much better passing big man than maybe he even gets credit for. And it's a skill set that's got to be utilized for the Knicks. It's got to be. So I got a bunch of YouTube comments. If you want to join the show, we have a link posted on the YouTube, so you can click that link, join us, converse, all that good stuff. This one is from Hakeem the Dream. OG is the best player on the team. He's not the best player on the team. He's not the best player on the team. He might be arguably their biggest X factor. I'm more willing to go in that direction. And why do I mean that? Because their offense, if you haven't noticed, looks drastically different when he's engaged, when he's involved, and when he's a part of this thing. That's why I'm always stressing, hey, you can't lose OG. You can't lose OG. You got to make sure OG is involved. They've done a good job of that the last 2 games. Maybe not in the final minute in the game against Atlanta in Game 3, but for the most part, OG has been involved. It's that third option that's absolutely needed for this team. Brunson is the best player on the team. Cat's the most talented player. He's the most talented player. This one comes from Chef Guns. What's up, Chef? Gotta love the ball movement today. I did. I absolutely did. How many times did the Knicks have possessions where they were swinging the ball around 3, 4, 5 different guys are touching the ball? There was a lot of that today. And obviously, Atlanta's defense was not up to par. But it just goes to show you the Knicks can be a dynamic offensive team when this is the mindset and this is the approach. This one comes from our guy Bradley. JJ thought Mike Brown made the right decision in not playing Bridges a lot tonight, and Deuce should be utilized more. Yeah, listen, Deuce didn't even have a huge role in this game, if you think about it. He didn't. He put up a lot of his numbers at the end of the game in garbage time when the game was over. But he's fearless. That's what you have to respect about Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride and Josh Hart have that in common. The problem with Deuce at times, watching him, is that he's a little too free-flowing. He's a little too get it, shoot it. Sometimes a good thing, sometimes not such a good thing. We want to get that ball movement. Like, I don't need Deuce McBride taking shots 3 or 4 seconds into the shot clock like he did in game 3. Like, that's frustrating stuff. But Bridges was handled perfectly today. Perfectly. He started the game. They tried to get him going. He contributed early. He was not giving him much in the third quarter. They took him out of the game. He never came back in. Good. No loyalty there. That's proper coaching. So we've given Mike Brown a hard time. I think we have to be fair and we have to be balanced here and give him credit when he's doing the right thing. This one comes from James. Josh Hart played very well today. That was huge for the Knicks. Yes, because of the energy that Hart gives you. From a rebounding standpoint, from getting out in a transition. He's their Energizer Bunny. And one key that I did not mention as far as this game and one of the keys to this game. Atlanta did not get in the transition at all. That fast break stat that NBC threw up, eye-opening. Atlanta could not get a fast break point on the Knicks. That's where Atlanta wants to thrive. That's where they want to get in their offense. They couldn't do it. They're going to struggle in the half court, and they did. They struggle, especially if McCollum is not going off the way McCollum can go off. This one comes from Tryhard2645. If we can contain Nickeil Alexander-Walker from the perimeter, I feel confident in this series. Yeah. My thoughts exactly. I'll take it a step further. If the Knicks just play their game, there's nothing about Atlanta that really scares me, guys. There's not. I mean, with all due respect to CJ McCollum's their best player. Like, if this team can't win a first-round series going up against – it's not trying to rag on CJ McCollum. He's had a really nice career. But you get where I'm going here. If he's your best player, then, like, shit. You shouldn't be able to beat the Knicks. Shouldn't be able to do it. This is a great comment from John. Cat with 4 straight 20-point, 10-rebound games with 50% shooting from the field, not to mention 10 assists. These are great games from Cat. Takes a lot to impress JJ. Cat out there eating barbecue hawks. You know, I think he's had a good series up until now, John. But again, I want him engaged the way that he was engaged today. That, to me, is what separated him in this game than the first 3 games. The engagement. Game 1, it took him a little too long to get going. Game 2, I felt like he disappeared down the stretch. Game 3, not involved. Enough for my liking. This game, he was involved again and again and again. He had that ball at the top of the three-point line, and you felt like something good was going to happen. You felt like he was going to make the right basketball play. Like, he's had some great playoff games for the Knicks. You know, I'm in the Post Studios. I did the show with Dex and Brian. We did the live stream during the game, which was a ton of fun. I hope you guys checked that out. I'm good luck here, by the way. I think I'm going to have to come and watch more Knicks games at the Post because when I come, they win. They're 2-0 last year. But why I bring that up, Detroit, game 4 was an amazing cat game. And Indiana game 3 last year was an amazing cat game. The difference in this game is just the ease. Cat didn't have to go and be a volume guy. He impacted the game considerably, you know, not taking a ton of shots. That's a great sign. This one from Garrett. Were these the best Mitchell Robinson minutes yet in this series? Yeah, probably. Mitch, to be honest, Garrett, has not had much of a role in this series. And, you know, I had a couple of people in my life mention, hey, why aren't the Knicks going to the double big lineup as much as they have in the past? And I said, because this series, you don't need the double big lineup for the Knicks. You just don't. Atlanta doesn't have the size. Where they scare you is on the wing. So that's why you didn't see a lot of double big. And listen, I think that's wise, quite frankly. You didn't need to see a lot of double big. But yeah, Mitch was active today. Oh, this is a good one. And, you know, my father-in-law actually showed me this Stephen A. Smith rant. I did not see it, but did the Knicks respond to Stephen A? I mean, I guess they did. Stephen A., call him out again. I mean, we did on Thursday's show. Now, I want to make something clear to everybody. This esteemed person that you're listening to at the moment, you know, magna cum laude at Syracuse, as I like to say. I don't know how. Don't ask. Not after my first, you know, semester and a half at Syracuse, but I got the grades up because I actually took classes. I knew what I was doing. But my college transcript aside, I never in a million years thought the Knicks were dead in this series, but I said they had to win game 4. That was non-negotiable. And I didn't realize this. NBC put up a graphic right before the start of the game. Knicks have never won a series down 3-1. And we've had a couple of instances of this recently. Knicks were down 3-1 last year to the Pacers, won game 5, lost game 6. Miami a couple of years ago, they won game 5, lost game 6. You even want to go back to the series they played against Indiana in the second round in 2013, won game 5 at home, lost game 6. You don't want to go down 3-1. This series, it might have been possible because the Knicks are more talented. But you didn't want to get to that point. Just like you don't want to get to the point where you face an elimination in Atlanta. And I need the Knicks, from a focus standpoint, as dialed in Tuesday night as they were in this game tonight. This is from our guy, Romeo. Best part of Cat tonight, only 2 attempted threes. Nobody on the Hawks can stop him inside. Ding, ding, ding. Well said. Well said. But it's twofold. Not only Cat on the inside, Romeo. Cat on the outside, leading to other guys getting easy looks. That's why I don't know what the adjustment for Quinn Snyder is. You know, if the adjustment for Quinn Snyder is playing Tony Bradley, the Hawks, to quote my pal Raheem Palmer, They're deader than fried chicken. If Tony Bradley is your answer, good luck. Good luck. This is a good one from Anthony. What was the tension between Brunson and his dad all about? You know what? I for one, Anthony, kind of liked it because, there's this narrative with Jalen Brunson that, his daddy's on the staff. He gets to do whatever he wants. Blah, blah, blah. I liked it. And I'm not a rip reader. Look at me making up words. Lip reader. There we go. Not a lip reader. I don't try to be. Kind of looked like he was saying pass the ball. Maybe that's me trying to read into that, where I know that's been a point of much needed Nick emphasis. Jalen Brunson passing the ball. And ball movement was better tonight. Brunson wasn't necessarily great, but the ball movement was better. Hey, Jalen Brunson will have his moment or two in this postseason. I'm not worried about that. But having all 5 of your guys involved and then some, that's your pathway to winning games. This one is from Charles. As long as they keep OG Bridges and Hart on McCollum. And yeah, Mikal Bridges has had a hard time with CJ. That's a very, very good point. There is no business he goes off with his age. Yes. Correct. If you're getting beat by CJ McCollum in the first round, your team is beyond broken. Like if you're losing to a team where the best player on the opposing team is CJ McCollum, no bueno. And it looks like there's some bad injuries here for Minnesota. I had the Knicks today. I had the Hawks today. I'm thinking I'm going to have a 3-0 day. Not to be. Not to be. Because it looks like DiVincenzo looks. I saw that in the comments earlier, and I saw it was a terrible injury. Hope he's okay because he's had a nice series for them. And Edwards apparently is hurt now. Great. Oh, this is from our guy, the great Hector of Washington Heights. JJ, my guy, appreciate the love and high praise on being why you the man. Let's go Knicks. Love you, Hector. And yes, I said this to Licata. You are a top 5 Knicks fan or a Met fan. You're a great Knicks fan too. But when I think Hector, to be fair on this, I don't think Hector Knicks. I think Hector Mets. So when we see our guy Hector going nuts out at Citi Field when the Mets are trying to snap that hideous losing streak. And nice performance by the Mets, by the way, on Friday. Can't beat the Rockies with Peralta on the mound. Terrible loss. Just when you want to see them get going, terrible loss. Stefan, because I know you have his number, and Stefan's hanging with us in the live stream. Hi, Stefan. Text our guy Benji as I am chatting with the people right now. The link to the live stream. Stefan is sending it over, Benji. So we will have you set up. Benji Kleiner, my good buddy, who is one of the great Knicks fans on social media. Actor, New York, aficionado, and Mr. Positivity with the Knicks. He's going to join us. We're going to pop him in the live stream momentarily. I can't multitask. And Stefan, I believe, has it. Oh, there we go. Stefan, Benji's in. But he's, we're waiting. Stefan's trying to figure this out. The problem is I can kind of do it, but then you guys are going to, do you guys actually want to see me do this? You guys might get a kick out of this. If you guys are watching on YouTube, watching my fat fingers, try to multitask and do some brilliant stuff. That's what we're doing here. So give me a second here. Do I have it? I don't know. I'm putting them in the chat. There we go. Stefan took care of it. See, sometimes, you need a little multitasking help. Romeo wants more game watch-alongs. They are great. So I did it with the post guys. It's funny you mentioned this, Romeo. Something we are going to be doing, and I have some news on this coming within the next week or two, is I'm going to start doing monthly ones. It's tough when I'm at SOY, but I can finagle it in a way where on the weekend, we're set up. We do a watch along, and we have a little bit of fun. So we'll have some news on that and something I have all cooked up for what we might be doing as far as that goes. And thank you, of course, everybody who's watching on YouTube. If you're listening via Twitter, great. Follow the YouTube page. Really trying to get that baby going. Getting all our stuff up there, Instagram, TikTok. Can you believe I'm on TikTok? TikTok's a lot of work. That's why I like the walking videos. A little JJ After Dark walking talks, which, by the way, you'll be getting one when I'm walking around New York City. I'm in a spot tonight where I'm doing the late dinner because I did the watch party here at the Post. So it's going to be me walking out of the Midtown studios at like 10 o'clock at night, figuring out what the hell I'm going to do in New York City to find dinner. My wife wondering what time I'm coming home. Sounds like a whole lot of trouble. You know what I mean? Where are you? I'm just getting food. You better be. Better not be hitting the bars on like the Lower East Side after a big Knicks playoff win. Better not be doing that. Today is the sort of day, if it was like a nice spring day and you had a Knicks playoff game with people outside rocking and rolling, oh my God, New York City would be so electric. It still probably is. I mean, I'm sure the bars were doing well on a Saturday night, but it's miserable. Just when you want the weather to turn around, it just can't. It just can't. We'll take some calls. Benji's going to join us in a little bit. We got Bradley who's ready to go, and we dropped the link in if you want to get in touch with the show via the chat. We have the chat. We also have the link to call in. Our guy Brad joins us. Brad, what's up, man?
What's up, JJ? Really good bounce back by the Knicks tonight. They needed that in the worst way. I really did think Mike Brown made the right decision with Bridges. He could not play that many minutes tonight, like based off the last couple games. Like I mentioned before, I think Deuce should be utilized just a little bit more. He got most of those points in that garbage time, but they should utilize them like just in a couple stretches here and there, just to try to get like something going when something doesn't look like it is going. But I thought Karl-Anthony Towns had a great night. Hart played amazing. OG was phenomenal tonight.
All over the place. This
place.
Offense, Bradley, is so different and is so unleashed and unlocked when Anunoby is engaged. And we've seen that now each of the last two games. It was more about the three-point shot in game 3, but the cuts, attacking the basket, being that legitimate third option of Brunson and Towns, it's a must for this team. It really is.
Yeah, they're the key. They gotta step on their throats now. Like I mentioned a couple of days ago, they gotta now go for that kill mentality. Go take care of business at home, and then take care of it on the road. I mean, there were, like you said, there were more Knicks fans in that building than there were Hawk fans.
Oh, embarrassing! Yeah. But no surprise there.
Yeah.
We all knew that the Knicks presence would be felt down in Atlanta because it is always Bradley felt down in Atlanta. They always have a ton of people there. They're always rocking and rolling.
Yeah, there's a lot of followers, Knicks followers down there when they go down to Atlanta. Big night, really big night. I didn't ask you too because this broke earlier before the baseball got started.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this. With Cora?
With Cora, yeah. What were your thoughts about that?
Absolutely stunned. Now listen, they're a dysfunctional hot mess in Boston.
Yeah.
And Alex Cora has not done a good job with this team. He's one of the best managers in baseball.
Yeah.
If he wants to manage again, he's going to have a job in 5 seconds. Now, what probably ended up happening, and I'm not in Boston, so I don't have the total connect the dots of everything that went on with this story. I bet you Alex Cora has been MFing the GM this entire winter and this entire spring, and the GM probably got sick and tired of it. The problem is the GM is not any good at his job. So, if I'm choosing between Craig Breslow and I'm choosing between Alex Cora, I'm taking Alex Cora 100 out of 100 times. And the dynamic that's interesting, listen, the Red Sox, you fire Alex Cora, I don't think I got to worry about you too much in 2026. Yeah. What I'm curious to see, though, is from a Mets standpoint. Now, we've talked, hey, if Mendoza's in trouble, it's Kai Correa. It's Carlos Beltran. But my goodness. And I know Alex Cora and David Stearns don't appear to be like a simpatico match. Alex Cora is going to run his show. But my goodness, Mets make a managerial change.
I'm telling
Alex Cora is the first call I'm making, right?
No question.
Hey, Bradley, if the Yankees get bounced early in the postseason, that's the first call I'm making.
Yeah.
Same deal.
Yeah, Alex Cora is a phenomenal manager. gave the Yankees fits for years. He's going to get a job, no question, in a heartbeat. I would hire him in a second if the manager spot was open for the Yankees. I know the Mets should definitely hire him if they do get rid of Mendoza, which could happen at some point this year. But yeah. Oh, and I gotta give my thoughts too with the Giants. I thought they had a really good draft. I was stunned when they got Reese. I couldn't believe it. I thought Reese. I said a week ago I thought Reese was gonna be the lock for number 2, and then we heard whispers about David Bailey getting picked 2nd overall. Once that happened, and then when Cardinal Tate, which was a stunner of the night by the Titans,
idiotic pick.
Yeah,
hated it.
Couldn't believe it. They had Styles, they had Reese, they had Downs at 5. I couldn't believe they got Reese. Now, I'm not, and listen, I'm glad they took offensive linemen. Trust me, I know you mentioned last week the dream scenario if they got 2 of the Ohio State guys. Definitely, Downs was there. Could have taken them. Okay, they do need offensive line help. They needed to protect Jackson Dart. I get it. It's not going to be fun seeing Caleb Downs now playing in Dallas twice a year. But listen, I'm not mad. I think John Harbaugh had a phenomenal draft. I really liked what they did. And yeah, I think he set the parameters like what the season could be. Hopefully, this year.
Riley, well said. Listen, Giants are going to be a physical team. That's the bottom line. They're going to be far more physical than they've been in years past. That's a great sign for them. I would have taken Downs over Marianoa. We'll see if it works out. Reese at 5, though. I mean, that was stealing. Now, a little context. Benji Kwan is a good buddy of mine. I think he's a top 5 New York Knicks fan in New York City. I don't even think it's close. Top 5. I'd put him in that category. He's ahead of Chalamet. Sorry. He's ahead of Chalamet. He's ahead of Spike Lee. Sorry, Spike. You're ahead of Benji. Benji is top 5. He might be number 1. He's at the Garden all the time. He's giving you the videos after the games. And Benji texts me today and goes, JJ, Knicks win, pod. I go, well, I'll see you tonight. Benji, here we are. I told you.
I'm feeling amazing, JJ. I can't thank you enough for being on with you. And I love the show, man. I love the new format. Man, that was a lot less stressful than I thought it was going to be. I think you said it all along. You weren't scared of the Hawks after game 1. But I mean, honestly, after these last 2 games, I feel like I was studying for like the end of year finals or something. Like the stress level that was being brought about by Knicks fans. I had Knicks fans talking about Billy Donovan.
Well, Benji, that's what happens when you lose 2 games in a series where you're heavily favored and you have the expectations that the Knicks have, right? Like the Knicks have finals or bust expectations. So all of these bad thoughts and all of these like negative feelings of emotion, yeah, they're going to come out when you're playing a team that you're much better than. And that's why I thought, Benji, forget about winning the game, which they needed to do, and they weren't going to win the series if they didn't win this game tonight. To win the way that they did, it kind of restores order. It kind of restores my feeling that I had after game 1 and really going into the series that Atlanta's pesky. Yeah, they got a bunch of guys they could throw at Brunson, but the Knicks are better. And if the Knicks play their A game, Atlanta can't compete with that. That's what I saw tonight. They can't compete with that.
It was such a great effort early on. I think, Oj beyond Cat, just those first couple possessions, just getting him the ball down low. We didn't see that in the first 3 games of the series. I mean, it took until I looked at it. It took until about 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter of game 3 for Cat to get a low post possession. That was just inexcusable. That's been a clear advantage since the start of the series.
Benji, they should be going down low every opportunity. Atlanta can't. They have no bodies, dude. Who whether it's Cat or it's like today where Cat's around the 3-point line and you got guys just cutting like crazy. Atlanta's got nobody that could defend down low.
It's insane. Tony Bradley is probably worse than some of the centers that play on my league.
I was gonna say you'd be matching up with Tony Bradley in the rec league on the Upper East Side.
It's crazy. And CJ is a special player. And I got to be honest with you, I thought once he got traded to Washington, I thought like that's where NBA careers go to die. So I thought like he was done. So he clearly is a very formidable scorer. Like we have a serious issue trying to stay in front of him. He had a quiet game tonight. Didn't shoot the 3 well, but man, Atlanta just doesn't have anything else. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been pretty negligible in this series. Kuminga came back down to earth, right? He wasn't going to have back-to-back 20-point games. So, man, we shot the ball well. I thought Alvarado's impact early in
He
the
was
first
huge.
half.
Benji, I said it. Like, if you were to give, like in hockey, they do like 3 stars at a game, catch your biggest star at a game. Anunoby's probably your second biggest star at a game. I'd give Alvarado my 3rd star. I thought he was so crucial from his defense, hit a couple of threes. He was an irritant. And that's what I said when they made that trade. I said, he will have a playoff game where he goes and helps and is a big part of it. Like, you just knew, man. Like, that's why he was going to have a role in this rotation. Even when he fell out of it and people were like, oh, is he going to get – he's going to have a moment in this postseason. He's too gritty.
I just hope that what Knicks fans take out of this is we don't hear any more negativity about Karl-Anthony Towns and about his lack of aggressiveness, because he has saved our bacon so many times in the playoffs so far in less than 2 years of being a Knick. This guy is such a special player. He's not soft. He's a great teammate. He's sacrificed a lot this year. I mean, this is one of the special performances, JJ. I don't know where you think this ranks in terms of all-time Knick performances. I know it's the first round, but 20, 10, and 10.
And on 10 shots. That's the crazy thing. Incredible efficiency from Cad. I don't know where I would put it just because it's a first-round series, but considering the stakes of being down 2-1, I'll say, Benji, and you mentioned some big Cat playoff performances for the Knicks last year. In Indiana, down 2-0. Game 4 against Detroit. I think this is the best and most complete game I've ever seen Cat play with the Knicks. I know that sounds crazy because his stat line isn't like wow from a scoring standpoint, but he dominated the game. He inserted his will every which way imaginable and was efficient, seamless, and top notch. So I'll say it. Yeah, I think it's the best game I've seen him play as a Knick.
I would agree with you given the stakes, and I would say this is probably the most adversity that this team has faced in recent years, given that this is the first round and the expectations of us trying to make it to the finals. But I will say, I know this is a minor complaint, and I'm just thrilled with the win. Brown's got to stop with these early first quarter substitutions. The team was rolling. We set the tone. I think we were up 17-12 or 17-13. He took almost the whole starting lineup out, including Cat, like 4 minutes to go. And I was thinking, we're playing great. Just keep it rolling. Why are we taking our foot off the gas?
No, that's fair. That's a fair critique. The biggest complaint I've had with the rotations, and thankfully this was dealt with in game 4, they didn't have these stretches, Benji, where it's no Cat and no Brunson. Like game 2 was so inexcusable. You cannot have 4 to 5 minute chunks in either the second or the fourth quarter where both of those guys are on the bench. Can't have it. Can't happen. Unacceptable. Thankfully, Mike Brown realized that. They were out for like a minute when he made the substitution you're alluding to. And then Mike was like, yeah, let me get Jalen back in the game. It's like, yes. And then the second quarter starts. Benji, I love in the second quarter when they have Cat with the second unit. That's a lineup you got to go and work, man. You got to use that bad boy.
I'm right there with you. We're always on the same page. I love that start of second quarter lineup. But if you notice recently in the series, Brown didn't start Cat to start the second quarter. I think in the first 3 games, I think he had a different, because he would take Cat out and then he would bring Cat out like back in like maybe 8 minutes to go, 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. So he just needs to stick with the lineups that are working. Like, this isn't a time to manage minutes. These guys need to be playing 42 minutes. I don't care what it takes.
They're ready to go. Correct. They're ready to go.
We got to put this team out of their misery now. We got game 5. I'm feeling so much more. I feel like the biggest weight of the world has been lifted off my shoulders, given what we just went through, given how negative the fan base was. This was a tremendous win. We can't get complacent.
Benji, they need to win this series in 6 games. For everybody's sake, bro. You don't need it. I don't need it. We don't need a 7th game at Madison Square Garden next Saturday night.
I can't even fathom that happening. So, yeah, I mean, man, I love the show. I love the show.
Don't be a stranger. I will not be I will not be there Tuesday. We have 8 o'clock SNY.
Gotcha.
There will be a Knicks Celtics series, and you can bet your ass I will be in the building for one of those 2 games. I don't know which one yet, but take that to the bank.
I love it, man.
I'll visit you at the seats. I'll say hello.
Please do. I'm so proud of this team. So proud of Cat. And I'll leave you with one last thought, that this is all happening in the background. Our Yankees I know we're not celebrating it now, but they're playing some quietly fantastic baseball right now. They're pitching great. They're about to be 18-9. They're rolling, man.
Benji, life is good when the Knicks are rocking and the Yankees are rocking. Always. That's the great Benji Kleiner. How about my guy, the People's shortstop? Tell you, if you're Anthony Volpe, better get your ass back. Better hustle. Everyone's like, oh, Caballero can't play, blah, blah, blah. Look at what he's done the last 2.5 weeks. He can play. And he's made a couple plays in the field that, I got news for you, Anthony Volpe's not making in his wildest dreams. Don't retire the People's shortstop yet. We'll take one more before we say goodbye. Oh, there he is. He's got his jacket. He's ready to go. Charlie in Woodside. Hi, Charlie.
Hey, JJ. Hey, JJ. Hey, this is a good response. This was a good response by the team. In all facets, like defensively, they were up. They were just at it, and they make this. The Hawks do not make them run in transition, and put them in a half-court situation. That's where Karl Anthony Towns. I feel like he's been the difference maker in the series. It's not been Brunson.
Well, he's been the best player in the series for the Knicks. Cat, no doubt, no doubt.
Like his passing ability is very, very underrated. Very underrated, and he's showing. And the way he's been identifying throughout the court, where cutting through inside with passing out OG, and with the Hawks' size, that's where this team no match. That's where I feel like Brunson's been struggling because of the wings and their length. And this is where you have to take advantage of Karl Anthony Towns because he's a total mismatch against that team. And finally taking advantage of that. And Hart had a, I feel like Josh Hart was probably listened to one of the Stephen A. Smith shows.
You knew we were going to get intensity, hard effort, all of it with Josh. That was a given, Charlie. Yeah, that was a given, and that's exactly what you got. You got activity. You had him hitting the glass. You had him getting out in the transition, and it just goes to show you he can impact the game, Charlie, in so many different ways, even when he's not scoring.
That's what I'm saying. Like even he only had 2 points in the last game. Offensively, he's gonna that he's the least of a worry in this. And from last night's game, like Bridges is like guy who put on Panic City.
But you know what though, Charlie, they handled him perfectly in this game. They did. They played him. They played him. They started him. They didn't mess with the starting lineup. They tried to get his confidence going. He got a couple of early buckets. Then he kind of disappeared, but he was a non-factor in the second half. Great. If he's not going to impact the game, then at the end of these games, he's not going to play. That's all.
And I feel like another part of this stabilizing force of this game, Jose Alvarado. Like when Brunson went down in the second half,
unbelievable.
He was instrumental of kind of keep this thing afloat and doing more. And his defensive ability from nowhere stealing and just being a secondary point guard. That was vital and building at the lead. Whereas at the point where Brunson coming back, they're building up this lead, and he was outstanding. I know when he got out of the rotation towards the end of the regular season, I knew he was going to have a moment or two that he's going to contribute big time in the playoffs. He was big time in this game.
Well, he's fearless, and that's exactly what you knew you were getting from a New York City kid who's played in playoff games in the past and is a professional about the idea of being in and out of the rotation. Charlie, he's just happy to be here. Like, this is a dream for him to be a part of the New York Knicks, his hometown team, in the postseason. And I got news for you, Charlie. That two-man game he could play with Karl Anthony Towns, he works well with Cat. He does. In that second unit, I want to see more of that. Let Cat be the guy. Have Alvarado come in, play his couple of minutes. It's not to say, Brunson, Cat doesn't work. Brunson. No. It's the idea of finding matchups within your team that work where it's like, hey, this is now Cat's time to shine. Then it's Brunson's time to shine. Then the fourth quarter, they're both going to be out there anyway. So split up those minutes. They did a really nice job of that tonight.
Absolutely. And regards to moving forward with this series, As I look, the Yankees are up 8-2 in this game.
Oh, it's beautiful. Charlie, listen, Red Sox and the Astros taking them to the woodshed. I know both teams are down. I don't give a crap. That is a thing of beauty, man.
Yes, it's nice to do it. And I'm going to tell you, like, the Knicks, they messed around game 2 and 3. This should have been, like, up more than this.
That's,
2-2.
The great Stefan Anderson texted me this, and he's 100% right. You really should be looking at this series 3-1 going back to the Garden. You can make an argument this should have been a 4-game sweep. That's why, like, Charlie, I don't know about you, like, I'm not the least bit concerned about the Knicks losing this series. I'm not. And people are going to say, hey, I'm being a mush. I'm putting the cart before the horse. The Knicks can't beat the Hawks. What are we doing here, Charlie? What are we doing here for this group? This should be over in the next 2 games. Please.
Absolutely. They cannot be messing around. We all know this team is better than the Hawks. And this game's been proven that this team, if they execute properly, don't turn the ball over, and keep Karl-Anthony Towns involved and engaged, and he's up to his game, because we know he's dominating the series. And this thing there is no excuse that this series go back to game 7. No excuses. Get this thing go over, win game 5, and chance to close out in 6. That's what the job has to be done. Because Charlie, we know what's coming with this next round.
Precisely. And you have to know that Boston is probably going to make quick work of Philadelphia. You don't want to be burnt out knowing that war that is ahead. And it's coming. And it's going to be fantastic. We're going to get it. Return to order is what you got in game 4. Intensity, balance, and a whole lot of cat. We'll have our pod tomorrow night. We'll have Jet Spot, Giant Spot, all the trimmings on the draft, a lot of baseball to get to, and, of course, a look ahead to Game 5. Thanks for joining us on YouTube, and you guys were great with the comments. We post the link if you want to call the show. You can do that as well. Our guy Benji Kleiner made an appearance. How cool is that? Great job by everybody. We'll chat in 24 hours. We'll be back on YouTube Tuesday. JJ out. Be good, everybody.